all well. We're here back at a normal time this week. Last week we had a bit of a we had some technical issues and some time issues, and as you can see, I've managed to get the camera working again. So I hope you're all well and fine. We've got a great guest for you tonight. He is a performer. He is a showman. He is absolutely fantastic. Please do make him feel very welcome as well. Hope you've got your questions ready for him. Again, these shows are a great opportunity for you to really ask questions of performers that are out there in the trenches doing the work, and kind of what has helped them along with their career. So please do. I'm going to play my little graphic, and then after that, please welcome, put like a clapping emoji. If you can find the emojis on your keyboard, put a clapping applause emoji in the comment section and welcome Richard Rumble. And there is, look, it's almost like we'd timed that perfectly. You appeared at the right time and everything. Richard, how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I am okay, just about. So for the people that are watching from around the world or wherever they're watching from, whereabouts in the world are you now?
I am in sunny Southern California in a place we call Orange County down by Disneyland. I'm actually closer to the beach, where if you watch television, I don't know if you get the Housewives of Orange County over there, but I live
one of my favorites. Yes. Oh, brilliant. Yeah. I also think, Patrick Picard has put the applause emoji in there for you. Fantastic hypnotist over in Europe. I often wonder if you're going to live in America, surely everyone would drive and live near the beach. I would never understand why you live in a cold part of the States. So, yeah. What's it like for shows kind of before COVID hit? What was your career like? What were you doing?
Well, before COVID, we did a lot of shows for high schools, for proms and graduations. We did a lot for college things in the fall, and we did a lot of corporate events where they're having corporate meetings. And COVID came along, and it just kind of wiped everything off the plate. So yeah. I do a lot more than just hypnosis shows. I do a bunch of other different kind of performing things, and all of those just went to zero pretty much overnight in the span of 1 week.
It was crazy. Just a couple of quick hellos as well. Kaz Riley says Richard is an awesome bloke. If Kaz says that, then you absolutely must be an awesome bloke. Kaz is amazing as well. And she is just literally a stone's throw away from where we are here. Natasha Stanley says, hey. And Adam Richard Dealey says, hey, as well. So tell us do you remember your last show before the COVID lockdown happened?
Wow, let's see. The last show before the COVID, I remember where I was on the day that it happened. I was actually at a convention for booking more shows. So we have everybody gets together and they walk around and they talk to you and they book a bunch of shows. And all of a sudden it came over the radio that the governor had decided to lock down the state, and boom, all of a sudden we had the phones, everybody's phone was ringing. Most of us in there were entertainers, and everybody's phone just started ringing of people canceling shows left and right. So it was a sad day for sure. Yeah.
I remember when it first happened. I kind of thought it's not, we're not going to go into lockdown. It's just like a crazy thing that was happening in China, and then maybe we're going to do a bit of a lockdown, but it won't be for long. It'll only be for a couple of months. And then it was 6 months, and then it was a year, and then it was 18 months. And it was like, wow, it was just, it made you, especially as a performer, it made me look inward to kind of go, what can I do? How can I pivot? How can I prevent this from happening again? How was it for you? What kind of things, will you change, or have you changed because of COVID?
Well, because we do so many different kinds of shows, it's easier for me to pivot and adjust to how I do my shows. So I can take something from, say, a magic show and apply it to the hypnosis show. For the hypnosis shows now, for the most part, all the chairs are all separated and everybody's keeping distances. And, we do the whole, I have a shield instead of the mask most of the time. That way they can see my face. Facial expression is extremely important when you're doing any kind of performing, in my opinion. Yeah. And we need to be able to see, mouth, face, eyes, the whole expression mask, so that we can project what we're wanting. Yeah. So it's important for me. So I like the clear shield when I'm doing the shows. As far as that goes, I'm using less audience people on stage. So I have, because they're all spread out now, and it's different. I'm not going to say it's harder or not as effective or not as much fun. It's just, it's different. It's a different paradigm to work with. So
for me, I mean, I made a schoolboy error with the clear masks. I've got my clear mask. I've peeled the film off. I think I did 3 shows with the mask on, and I just didn't like them. They seemed to still not be very clear. And then I was at a venue and somebody pointed out to me that there's a film on both sides. So I peeled that off and it was like, wow, this is like HD now. Everything is clear again. So yeah, I felt a bit of an idiot with that. But I mean, I did, we're in the UK now where our restrictions are pretty much lifted now. And the change for that has been really good. But it's hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to stay that way. So you mentioned about magic, and following you on your social media, you are a performer, you are a showman through and through. Magic. Do you do Santa as well? Did I see a picture of you doing a Santa?
Do I do a what?
Santa, Father Christmas.
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, I'm just filling in now. I got to put on my winter coat. So
brilliant.
Sometime in the summer, I start to grow it back in. I usually always have the little goatee and the mustache, but this gets shaved sometimes. And this year it did. So I got to grow it back in now. I've got a couple of months to really get it big. Fantastic.
I mean, which came first for you as a performer? Did you come to hypnosis through magic or vice versa? What was your first experience with hypnosis and how did you come about it?
Oh, wow. I remember my first hypnosis show. I remember my first experiences with hypnosis. They were long before I actually got involved with it.
Yeah.
But I actually got into doing hypnosis shows because I was doing some magic shows and some balloon entertaining, twisting balloon animals and things for some grad nights.
Nice.
And it's a lot of hard work to do it that way. And the hypnotist comes walking in. He's got a briefcase. He sets up his microphone. He gets paid, 4 times the money I was getting. And he's only there an hour. And I was busting my butt, for the whole night. It's like, whoa, this might be something I might want to think about. So yeah, we got into it kind of through that venue. At that particular time, there weren't a lot of the internet wasn't super big like it is now. There weren't YouTube videos you could watch.
Yeah.
And so it was hard for me to find somebody to teach stage hypnosis. So I found a clinical hypnotherapy and went to some clinical hypnotherapy stuff and went through the whole clinical path because I knew I could apply that to the stage.
Yeah.
Being a performer pretty much my whole life, I figured not a lot of difference in performing a magic show or a animal show or puppet show if I can just get the hypnosis part down. So yeah. I actually started my stage hypnotist career as a clinical hypnotherapist.
But from a performer's background, I always kind of
right.
And it's not a rule, but it was like what you said. You had a performance background, so the substance in between that. It could be anything. It could be hypnosis. It could be juggling. It could be balloons. It's those bits that people don't realize that for me, what makes a good show isn't, skit A into skit B. It's how you interact with the audience in between those bits that weaves it together. So
absolutely.
I think a good performer can be a comedian, an after-dinner speaker, a psychic, whatever you want to be. If you're on stage, even if you're doing clinical demonstrations of hypnosis, it's all a performance as such. So yeah,
absolutely.
Darren Fraser.
My general feeling is that I'm a performer first and I'm there to entertain my audience, and I just happen to be using hypnosis as the medium this time. It might be a magic show next time. It might be singing Christmas carols the time after that. You never know. But it's always, my outcome is still the same. I know what it is. It's to make the people in my audience happy, to move them in some way, to get them to the point where they're experiencing joy from being entertained.
Yes, and it's so important that I struggled for years with just being an entertainer. When you see so many people using hypnosis to create profound, life-changing experiences, and you would get people after shows coming to you sometimes and go, "I have a friend that's a proper hypnotist," but I realised that actually giving someone that moment of joy in a world that's full of chaos and misery sometimes, that in itself can be very profound. So yeah, I'm a big fan of using that. Yeah. Eddie Duncan says hello from Tamworth. That's in the Midlands in the UK. Darren Fraser says hello all, and Roy Miller says good evening everyone as well. It's always interesting to know the different time zones. I never put it out there like saying tonight we have this person, because people are watching from everywhere. So let me know in the comment section as well where you are watching from, and then we get a good idea of where the audience is. So I always ask guests this, because when you mentioned then about trying to learn somewhere or learn stage hypnosis, and YouTube wasn't about them, one of the things that YouTube does is it puts out a edited, polished version of a small skit of a show. And I think sometimes with the egos within hypnosis, there's a lot of polished stuff put out there, and people don't learn, or people don't know about the mistakes that even polished performers can do. So, but tell us about that. Tell us about a challenge that you've had, either the worst show you had in the early days, or a challenge that you have faced as a stage performer.
Well, that's pretty simple. The worst show that I ever had, my wife and I decided, well, I'm going to learn stage hypnosis. It'll be great. It'll be fantastic. We'll make a lot of money. It'll be awesome. And so I found a book from a stage hypnotist. I bought the book. I read through the book. The book was actually a very good book. But, reading a book and knowing information, and then going out and doing a show are two totally different things. So I read the book. I, memorized the scripts and the lines and the skits and the whole 9 yards. And we had a family friend whose daughter was turning 16. So I thought, okay, we'll go over and we'll do a show for them to get my feet in the water. And it wasn't a lot of people. So imagine your very first show with 10 people tops.
Wow.
And half of them don't want to be hypnotized because they don't think it's real. And the other half are kind of skeptical, and they have all known you for many, many years. You're not Richard the hypnotist. At the time I was doing a lot of clowning work. So I was Sonny D Clown, right? And so, oh yeah, Sonny D Clown's going to hypnotize me. Oh, this would be great. And it was pretty much the biggest flop in the history of hypnosis shows. Something bad. They're not hypnotized like it says in the book. They didn't drop into trance when you said sleep. They're resisting. They're doing all these things that you learn how to fix later on in your career because you've experienced them over and over and over again. But at that particular time, I didn't know how to deal with them. And the show was a disaster. And, 15, 20 minutes later, I'm limping my way off stage thinking, oh, my God. And I didn't do another hypnosis anything for 2 years.
Wow.
It demoralized me that much.
Wow.
It was just absolutely devastating. It's like, no, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make a fool. When I can get up there and do a balloon, or I can do a magic show, I can get up there and sing, and I instantly have the audience in the palm of my hand, and I'm going to get up there and fight with it and struggle with it. And it didn't seem worth it for me at the time.
Yeah.
And that's when we decided, well, let's go get some clinical training and figure out how the hypnosis really works.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think all stage hypnotists should have a fundamental knowledge of hypnotherapy, the clinical side of things, just because it's, I've yet to meet anybody, either stage or clinical, that isn't passionate about hypnosis, no matter how it is done, whether it be street, stage, or clinical. So I think all hypnosis is hypnosis, if you know what I mean. And I think if you are out there doing it without kind of understanding of the therapy side of things, it does, that can bring you challenges when it comes to ab reactions later on, sort of thing. But yeah, it's always interesting, that challenging show. And part of the reason why I asked the question on this is I think a lot of new people to the industry, if they have a bad show and they look online or on the forums, they're kind of shot down. So they keep their failures to themselves and don't learn from them. Whereas when they hear from, experts such as yourself and many of the other guests that have been on, and they realize actually everybody has those challenging shows. Everybody dies on their ass at some point. And I think you've got to die on stage a few times to realize how to wiggle your way out of it and still do a good show.
Yeah. in the world of magicians, we have a saying amongst some of the more profound professional magicians that every performer needs a time and a place to be really bad.
Yeah.
And you need an opportunity to do just horrible, crappy shows,
Yeah.
because that's where you learn from them. You learn the best things from those experiences, those moments.
Yeah.
You learn how to get around them, how to work through them, because stuff is going to happen. As we say, crap occurs.
Yes.
And you're going to have to learn to deal with it real-time live action.
Yeah. Kaz Wiley says, also all clinical should learn stage hypnosis. Absolutely. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the divide between the two is getting less and less now. You know, it used to be that, you know, clinical looked at stage to go, oh, it gives people unrealistic expectations, blah, blah, blah. I think now the divide between the two is very much blurred. And yeah, absolutely. Every clinical therapist, every hypnotherapist should learn some stage hypnosis, even for just the stuff they do in their clinical room, because everything is a stage, everything is a performance as such. And for the therapist, if they're doing public demonstrations or impromptu demonstrations, there's no better way to advertise what you do. Speaking of everything being a performance, looking through your socials as well, I see you have a very fine collection of show jackets with some sequins. Yes. I'm a lover of show jackets. I have quite a few in my collection. I've got some purple velvet ones and everything. You have some sequin ones. Tell us about your jackets and how they came about.
So sparkly is the new black, as far as I'm concerned. I love, the glitter jackets, and I've always had a little flair for that sparkly. I had a few nice sparkly jackets, and my wife and I, every time we go to Las Vegas, there's a men's shop that has these just crazy off the wall type jackets.
I know the shop.
Every year we go and we find something new and we buy something. I've got them in silver and gold and red and black, and some of them are the two-way sparklies where you rub up and it turns one color, you rub it back down, it turns another color. And
nice.
They're a lot of fun, and they're kind of becoming almost a branding trademark. So when I go do a show, I put on my silver jacket, and I got to the show, and the fella who's been hiring me said, "Oh my God, Richard, we were expecting the red sparkles today." It's like, okay, back to red we go. So,
yeah, I have different jackets for different shows. So if I'm doing a venue show, I have a purple shirt and waistcoat. If I'm doing a corporate, I have a black paisley silk jacket, and if I'm doing a theatre, I have a purple velvet one. And I kind of build my shows according to the jackets, if you know what I mean. But I think it's so important. I don't know, there's nothing against the guys that kind of do it in jeans and t-shirts. That's fine. That's the look. But for me, I think it's more for me than for anybody else. It's that excuse to put on my posh shoes, put on a snazzy jacket, and people go, oh, he's the entertainer. So you're already instilling that suggestion and making it easy for yourself further down the line. So yeah, but yeah, absolutely love those jackets. So we talked about your most challenging show, and I'm sure there's lots to choose from as in favorite shows, but do you have a show that stands out that was the one where when you finish that show and the audience is clapping and cheering, it was the show that you were kind of like, now I have made it. This is the show that will stay with me forever?
I don't think I can pick out one particular show. I remember certain specific people from shows that were just crazy amazing, but not a complete show. When I'm done with the show, generally my thought is, wow, I did everything. That was a great show, or gee, I could have done that a little bit better. But for the most part, when I'm done with every show, that show is my best show, because that audience is going to walk away from there thinking, wow, that was the best hypnotist we've ever seen. That was phenomenal and fun. Yeah. And so for me, I don't rank them categorically, best show. I'll remember that show. There are just moments in some shows that totally blow my mind and stick with me forever.
Yeah.
So and I think I was doing a show for, I was going to relate a story. I was doing a show for a corporate thing, and we were doing the rock and roll skit, and they were playing their favorite instrument. And there's this very large man, and, he was probably from human services or something, but I'm not a small guy, and he made me look small. He was a very, very large man, and he was doing the rock and roll guitar player. And I kid you not, he jumped up in the air playing his guitar solo and did the full splits on stage playing his rock and roll solo, just like he was at a Def Leppard concert. It's like, oh my God, that was totally crazy.
Yeah,
just amazing.
It's one of the things that I love about what we do is that there can still be moments now after years of doing it where it's just you get caught in that moment and it's fantastic. I mean, we know you guys are, so you've gone back into some restrictions now where you are in the States.
Yeah, we're moving back towards more restrictive for performers. For a little bit over the summer, there was a time when I could wear, the shield. If we were doing an outside show, we didn't have any masks as long as we maintained social distance from the audience. And now we're back to a lot of places you have to wear a mask, even if you're outside for doing a show.
Wow.
And some of the entertainers, because it's still very warm here, some of the entertainers are not doing very well with that. So
yeah, rebelling.
Yeah.
James Zells says hi, boys. Oh, do you know there's some absolute stars in the comment sections tonight.
Hey, James.
So coming out of COVID, what are your plans? Have you changed your show routines? Is there anything you're going to do differently now?
Before COVID, I did a lot of props, and I could hand everybody props and they could use the props. And now, because with COVID, everything has to be clean and sanitized, I'm doing a lot less with props that I'm taking back and more props that I can give them that they can keep with them. Paper dollar bills or things like that. So the stuff that I don't have to worry about the cleaning and sanitizing of all of that.
I must admit, I've like QR codes were they kind of had their day and then disappeared. Nobody was bothered about QR codes, but because of the pandemic, they seem to have had a resurgence. So a lot of my promotional materials now have the QR code on, so people can kind of scan that with their phone rather than take a flyer. So that kind of helps.
Right.
One of the things you push for, and I see on your socials and in your marketing as such, and what I love especially is about the Clean Hypnosis Show. It was a conscious decision what led to, because a lot of guys go down the adult shows, but you very much push for a clean corporate show, which I'm very much in favor of. Tell us about that.
So in the beginning, because the little bit raunchier stuff is very, very funny, I enjoy watching it. I enjoy doing it, but there was a point where you're doing a show and you tend to push the limit a little bit too far, unless you have really, really good boundaries and you're very absolutely conscious about exactly who's in your audience and who's on your stage and what the limit of this show is supposed to be. You can go over the line. And so I've pretty much gone to everything's just as, clean and benign, and it's still funny and it's a great time. But if you can't show it to your children or your grandmother, I'm probably not going to be doing it. And I just did a 40th anniversary. There's their 40th wedding anniversary show. It's backyard in their party. They're having a great time. And at the end of the show, somebody came up to me and said, "Wow, that was a great show. The last hypnotist they had was a little bit raunchier than you were." And I took that as a compliment.
We appear to have just lost Richard. Richard, if you can hear me, if you could refresh your screen and try and come back in. I don't know what happened there. Hopefully Richard can see us and we can come back to him in a few moments' time. But in the meantime, I will waffle. I was going to say every week we have a technical issue, and this week we were doing fine. So hopefully he will come here. Brenda K, same. Can't go wrong with a clean show. You know what? In the early days, I've done raunchier stuff, but I haven't done that for years. And I'm a big believer, if you can do it funny and clean, then you don't need to take it to any level that you or the client don't want to go to. Sometimes it's easy to rely on the material being shocking in order to get an audience reaction, and that sometimes isn't necessarily what you want. And especially with social media being what it is, something can be taken out of context and kind of pushed out there as well. So I'm just waiting for Richard to pop back in. I'm going to drop him a message just in case he doesn't know that he's not there. So do bear with me for a few seconds, guys. I hope you're enjoying these series as well. Richard, we are technically difficult. Yes, if you refresh and rejoin. There we go. I hope you're enjoying this series as well. Whilst we're waiting for Richard to come back up, let you know we have next week Alan Bates, who is the head of FESH, Federation of Ethical Stage Hypnotists. He's going to be joining us and talking to us about the work, the shows that he's been doing in Jakarta, Indonesia, in Asia. Absolutely amazing. Hypnosis is magical because it's hypnosis. Yes. Hypnosis is magic. It's real magic. It's the words that we use to create a wonderful experience for that person. So yes, absolutely. Here in the UK, I'm sure you're all bored of hearing about me waffling about stuff because I waffle for the world now. Shows are really starting to come back in and doing really well. I was at a venue last night doing a show. It's fantastic. I mean, we're in the middle of the summer season as well. So here in the UK, there is a lot of people staycationing. Just kind of confirmed some big shows at a local stadium to hear as well as a few town hall things. So things are going well on that side of things. And obviously, if you're interested in stage hypnosis training in the north of England, let me find a little link for it here. I'll just waffle on. There we go. It is this one. There is it that one? I think it might be that one. Myself and a fellow hypnotist called Christopher Cress will be running a training. As someone who does both, I've noticed when I do my own self-promoted local club shows, people won't pay for clean shows, but they're regular for Las Vegas style shows as I market them. Yeah, it's a weird one because I think if I was to watch an adult show with hypnosis, I find it's absolutely hilarious. But weirdly for my market, when I perform those shows, I want the people to want to volunteer for the next show. For me, it's about that return booking. And so it's kind of a balance. I think adult comedy hypnosis shows in the right place are one of the funniest shows you will ever see in your entire life because you see someone doing something completely out of their kind of normal comfort zone. Natasha says we also have a new group set up for stage hypnosis training UK. Yes, Natasha, if you could put that in the comments section, I will sort that out as well. I think we may have lost Richard. So like I say, in the next coming weeks, we have Alan Bates, who is a phenomenal stage hypnotist and the head of FESH. We have a couple of other people who are in the pipeline that are brilliant. They're not confirmed yet, but I've been talking to Michael Johns, who is a legend on the Vegas Strip. Also, Gareth Fulton, who has the season in Benidorm, which is a phenomenal season. He's been doing that for years. He's been coming on the show as well. And again, guys, if you know someone that you'd love to see on here, let me know in the comment section or let them know as well. It's always interesting to contact these people, and they're so happy to share their knowledge, their expertise, and everything that's going on as well. And at some point, I am going to branch out and hopefully get Kaz on as well. Even though Kaz is predominantly on the therapy side of things, I know she understands the fundamentals of performing hypnosis in a way to generate more clients, etc., through demonstrations. And Kaz is just ace. So there we go. Oh, and as if by magic, look who we've got back. He is back. He is live. There we go.
Well, that was fun. Let's not do that again.
Let's not. I was just saying we had no technical issues this week. Everything was going smooth, and then you just disappeared.
That was weird. Yeah.
For me, it was one of the good things about, live streaming is something that I've took on board. I absolutely love doing these now. And it was the closest thing during lockdown to that feeling of doing a show. The nerves before going out on stage, where anything could happen. I mean, sometimes when guests say things, I'm like, why are we live? But I absolutely love live. But when it goes wrong or an internet connection is lost, it is the most stressful thing in the entire world. So it's great to have you back, Richard.
It's good to be back.
Yes. So we're talking about clean shows and the corporate side of things. For me, it was described as, if you do a adult show and it goes viral on the internet, then that way restrict possible bookings in the future. And for me, that was very true. I took down a lot of the stuff that was more adult related, that was online. And then since then, I've done quite well with corporate and clean bookings. So, and again, it's about, I want that return booking. I want everyone that didn't volunteer this time to want to volunteer next time, because that gets me more bookings, if you know what I mean. Because that's what, fundamentally, I love performing hypnosis, but I love rebooking shows, because if they rebook, then everybody's happy then. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So where's the furthest you've traveled doing shows?
Wow, let's see. So I have been flown to Cancun to do shows in Mexico. So that's a fair piece.
Nice.
Let's see. I think that's probably the farthest I've traveled from my home base. Yeah, that's about.
Yeah.
So Cancun, Mexico, but I've traveled to the other side of the country. I've done shows on the East Coast, in Florida, in South Carolina, Georgia, up in New Jersey.
Nice. It's one of the I think you've got to have a love of traveling, as well as the stage stuff as well. And it's one of the things that especially, you know, performing in the States, you guys have a lot of grad nights, proms, you know, you get to travel all over the US performing those. So, yeah. If you were to give a tip, whether it be about stagecraft, about performance, about hypnosis, if you were to give a tip to a younger Richard, starting out, got a few shows under the belt, what would that tip be?
Wow, there's a lot of tips I'd give to younger Richard. So if I could talk to myself when I was first getting started from now, I would say to myself, keep at it, just keep working to it, and go to as many trainings as you can possibly afford to get to, even if you have to work out some kind of deal with the trainer. So if you want to work off your pay or part of your pay as, you know, carting around gear or running sound or using the cameras, then that's what you need to do. But you need as much experience doing and learning from other people who are already good at it as you can possibly get. And don't give up. Keep working at it. Keep working at it. Yeah,
especially the don't give up part. I see lots of guys, especially here in the UK, where we don't have as much work in the US, and they start off all guns blazing. You know, they're going to be the best in the world. They've been trained by the best in the world, and off they go. And they get 2 or 3 shows, 4 or 5 shows, half a dozen shows in, and then they hit a wall of 2 or 3 bad shows in a row. And like you said earlier, it kind of it takes the rug from under your feet, and they lose the confidence a bit, and then stop doing it. And I think that perseverance, I think, is probably one of the hardest lessons that I learned. But I needed to keep performing in order to eat.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
My 2 favorite hobbies, living indoors and eating.
Exactly. Yeah. What are you drinking there, Richard, by the way?
That would be ice water.
Oh, fantastic. Like I said, I've got a nice cup of English tea as well. Normally I'm a Costa coffee guy, but it's tea tonight. So yeah, interesting to see what other people drink whilst they're watching this, especially depending on their time zones as well. I keep putting up a link to your website as well, MrHypnosis.com. That's a great domain name, MrHypnosis.com. Can people find you on YouTube, social media, etc.?
I have some old stuff. I haven't really done anything current on YouTube. It's a lot of my shows from when I was first starting out on YouTube. So I'm there, but it's all really old stuff. I haven't really produced a lot of current social media stuff. Occasionally I'll throw stuff up on Instagram for things, but that's stuff that I'm doing. It might be I'm doing a foam party because we have a foam machine, or we're doing an event where we're, you know, bringing out our donut stuff, and we do a lot of different things. So there's all kinds of different stuff. As far as my straight hypnosis, basically I'm on Facebook and I talk about it there. I talk about the conventions that we go to. We just finished Hypno Thoughts Live in Las Vegas.
How was that this year?
You all couldn't join us because that flight across the ocean and all, but
yeah. It was how was that this year? Because I know there was kind of a mask mandate came in halfway through or something.
You know, it was a good convention. The pre and the post went very well. The convention was well attended, all things considered under the circumstances. It went very smooth. I thought we handled all of the COVID things that pop up, and you know, the social distancing and the cleaning of the hands and the wearing of the masks. I thought that all went very well. I chalk it up as a raging success, and next year will be 1,000 times even better. So
fantastic. It's weird. Hypno Thoughts every year is supposed to have gone. Something major has happened that's preventing me from going, and so this year I waited and I thought I'm not even going to commit to it this year, and then the pandemic happened. So it's like it's just not meant to be this year. Next year, possibly.
Sounds good. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think the conventions are so important as well, because it's a great way for people to meet their peers, their idols, the people they look up to within the industry, and to really network and build relationships with other hypnotists, hypnotherapists, and a great way to kind of learn stuff. Caswell says 10-year anniversary of Hypno Thoughts Live next year, so that should be a special one. So yeah.
That'll be pretty crazy fun. We hope you can all fly over and join us.
Yes.
From everywhere in the world.
Hopefully so. If we can't travel by this time next year, then there is something majorly wrong. Richard, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. It's been great to talk to you as well. Do you have your next show booked in, or how are you with restrictions with that? Have you got a show to look forward to?
I generally have shows of some sort every day of the week, at least during the summertime. We're coming towards the end of summer. That'll drop off for a little bit, and I'll be picking up then some more school shows, elementary schools. We're talking with a couple of larger clients right now. We're just phone call just this morning to provide some entertainment for the NFL here at the new stadium in LA. So nice. Maybe doing some fun stuff with them. All kinds of irons in the fire, so to speak. I think
that's what we have to do. To be working performers, you are constantly juggling that whole marketing thing of liaising with clients, past clients, marketing, emails, and really important that you said then about telephone calls. We live in a world now of social media and emails, and I believe the first person on the phone is the person that gets the gig. It's so important to build that relationship this day and age. So that's my tip. If anybody wants a tip from me. So yeah.
Well, I hear a lot about everybody's. We'd prefer you text us, or we want to do it just through a voice message or all that kind of stuff. And the business doesn't really get done until I've talked to them and we can chit chat and make sure we're on the same page, because texting can get thrown by the wayside and things get left behind and stuff gets dropped. So
it's the psychological connection between two people when they speak that builds that connection that they don't get from a text message. If I've only texted you and not spoke to you, it's easy for you to kind of, like you said, to ignore that message and come back to it later. If we've had a conversation and built that rapport, it's more difficult for you to then book somebody else. So yeah. Brilliant. Richard, thank you very much for joining us this week. It's been an absolute pleasure. Good luck with everything that's going on in the States as well, and good luck with your shows. I'll continue to follow you on social media, and it's been fantastic to have you on. Guys, please do follow Richard on his socials as well, and do show him lots of love and support.
Outstanding. Well, it's a pleasure talking with you all. That's a good Southern California, y'all, because
y'all.
Y'all. That's a good talking with you all. It was great to be here, and I look forward to seeing you all sometime soon. Maybe I should come over there, because that'd be a lot of fun too.
Absolutely. It'd be great to get some more guys kind of coming over here as well and doing some stuff over here. Fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Richard. Take care. You. Yeah, thank you very much. Everyone's showing you lots of love as well. Fantastic. Cheers, Richard. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye now.